If you're thinking about learning the piano or have just started recently, there are a few things you should probably know about learning the piano, because what you don't know can actually hinder your chances of success. There are misconceptions about age, about practice, about performance, about reading sheet music or playing by ear. So let's clear some of these things up so we can make the most of your piano learning. Hi everybody, CJ here. When you're just learning and just starting out in the piano, there may be some misconceptions that you have. So we're going to clear some of these things up. The most common misconceptions fall into a couple of categories. There are myths and misconceptions about age, when's the best time to learn to play the piano. There is false performance anxiety. People are afraid of performing, but usually for the wrong reasons. There's also misconceptions about time, how long it takes to learn to play the piano and how long it takes in terms of practice, what you should do for practice. There are also myths around physicality, about how your hands need to be. You need to have long, slender fingers to play the piano and that's just another myth. There's also myths around degree of difficulty, how hard it is to play the piano. And some people actually think it's so easy. I think both of these can be misleading. We'll deal with those in a minute. We'll also look at how to choose a teacher, what to expect from a teacher, myths about teachers. And then at the end, I'll give you a little bit of bonus information on why adult learners actually have an advantage over children. A common misconception has to do with age. We feel that children learn the piano faster, their brains absorb information more quickly, and therefore they're just better at it. Children are just better at learning piano than adults. That's not necessarily true. Children don't have the same preconceived ideas about learning, right? They don't have the experience that we have. They don't expect it to take a certain time. They're not in a rush. Children are patient in terms of their learning. They're not in a hurry. They don't compare themselves to professional musicians. So all of this mental baggage is something that children don't have. Also, their lives are not as stressed as adults. As an adult, you've got to worry about bills and rent, and you've got a life. You've got things to do. You've got a lot on your mind. Children usually don't. Also, children's parents help to structure their time, help them to remember to practice for lessons and prepare, whereas adults, we don't. We've got to take these things on our own, and if we're caught up with our busy, stressful lives, then we usually don't make the time that we need to practice. We don't think that we have the time to practice, whereas children do. Now, the last thing about age is the understanding of how your brain works, neuroplasticity. Right? This is how your brain learns new information, by repetition. The neurons in your brain, there are neurological pathways in your brain that are strengthened through repetition. So when you repeat exercises and songs and scales and all of these things, then your neurological pathways are strengthened. At first, they're very weak. This is one of the reasons why it feels so difficult as an adult learner when you're starting. But given time and repetition, your brain will adapt and you'll be able to learn just as easily and just as quickly as children, perhaps even faster. Another issue surrounding age is that people think that starting at a later age, they don't have enough time to become good enough at piano because they're starting late. But that's just not true. 3 to 5 years, you're ready to play. It took me 5 years before I turned pro. Right? So if you plan to be on this planet for the next 3 to 5 years, then you've got enough time to become really good at piano. So there's no shortage of time if you start now. Another thing that causes people undue stress is performance anxiety. Most of the time, though, this is false performance anxiety. For example, you might think that you have to take recitals as a piano student. No, you don't. You don't have to take piano recitals and you do not have to do piano exams. The reality of the situation is, if you want to play the piano, playing for your friends and family counts as performance. You do not need to be in a performance hall with hundreds of people for it to count as a performance. So just friends and family to start out with is a great way to develop your performance skills, and also understanding the difference between performance and practice can also help you get over your any objections to performance. Believe it or not, performance helps you to become a better piano player. And it does so because performing in front of people forces you to play songs from beginning to end, and it allows you to add more emotion to music, because when you're practicing, you're more catch correct. You stop and you fix things, and you make corrections. When you're performing in front of people, friends or family even, then you don't have time to stop. You play from beginning to end. That is excellent practice. And it's not something to be afraid of. It's something to be encouraged and to do, because you're most likely to receive more positive reinforcement, positive support, and encouragement from your friends and family. So don't be afraid of performance. All right, and this one is a good one. Time. One of the main complaints that people have is that they don't have enough time to practice. Well, that's because most people assume that practice means hours and hours a day of practice. That's not true. 15 minutes a day of practice will suffice for beginners in particular. When you're preparing for a performance, you may want to practice a little longer. But your daily practice, 15 minutes, 20 minutes tops, you're done. Get up 15 minutes earlier, or spend 15 minutes before you go to bed practicing. Case closed, done. As long as it's focused practice, you're practicing something particular. Spend 15 minutes on it, and that will be enough. And that 15 minutes can only come about if you make the mental shift to make the time. Because no, we don't have the time as adults. We have busy lives, we have children, we have jobs, we have all of these things to take care of. So we need to actually consciously make the time. And this also applies to performance, preparing to perform as well. Of course we want to perform. Learning to play the piano requires time and energy and effort. Why go through all of that energy and all of that time and effort if you have no intention of ever playing the piano publicly? There are also myths about your hands, about hand size. Some people feel that their hands are too small. Others feel that their fingers are too short and stubby, that pianists have long, slender fingers. Well, put that aside. As long as you have fingers, you're good to go. Consider yourself blessed. There are several misconceptions about how hard or how easy learning to play the piano can be. Some people believe that learning to read sheet music is really difficult, and that music theory is really difficult, and that learning to play by ear is really easy. So that's the way to go. But in reality, these things all go together. Reading sheet music, understanding music theory, and playing by ear need to be all combined. When children learn, they're given small little bite-sized pieces of information and they build on them. When adults learn, especially when we self-learn, we have a habit of skipping the beginning parts, the parts that are really simple, and we jump to the parts that are really difficult. And then we get stuck, and then we give up. So it's not that music theory is really difficult, it's that it's logical, and that you have to start from the beginning and build on that knowledge in order for it to make sense. So that would be my advice in terms of how difficult it may be. Don't worry about it being difficult. Just understand that knowledge and all learning is built on prior knowledge. Start from the beginning, learn the basics really well, and the more complex theory and sheet music and all of that will be easier. There will still be challenges, but it'll be a lot easier to deal with when you have your basics covered first. That's the reality about the difficulty of learning piano. Get your basics first, the rest will be easier. There are a couple of misconceptions about teachers. For example, people think that your piano teacher doesn't want you to make mistakes. Wrong. As a teacher, we've been where you are before, and we know the challenges that you're facing as we've been through them before. So we actually expect you to make mistakes. We want you to make mistakes in constructive mistakes, because this is how we learn. When you learn what not to do, you actually learn what to do. Right? So it's fine to make mistakes. We expect you to make mistakes, and our job is to help you get through those mistakes, right? And get to where you want to be. Also, keep in mind that you as a student, you are the primary driver for your learning. It is not the teacher's job to make you a great musician. It's your job to ask questions, to pursue, to seek out information. When I, as a teacher, give you information on scales, yes, I expect you to go through it, and I expect you to apply it, and I expect you to find additional information about it. There's nothing wrong with learning from multiple sources. All learning is good learning. So your teacher's going to guide you. Your teacher's going to direct you, but it's up to you to take the learning and progress in your hands. That's up to you, not your teacher. And when you do it, it becomes far more meaningful. If I give you an exercise and you take it on and you develop it and you study that even deeper than what I've just given you, then you get a better understanding of it, and you get better usage of it, and you have those aha moments. That's what makes a piano player, is when you on your own, working through things, have those aha moments. Oh, that's how it goes. That's what really works. Not your teacher pointing everything out to you and giving you the answers to everything. When you work for it and get those aha moments, that's brilliant. That's it. So your teacher will guide you, but it is up to you to integrate music and the piano into your life. When it comes to practicing, when it comes to performing, playing in front of friends and family, and making music and piano part of your identity. When your friends and family start knowing you as the guy that plays the piano, or the girl that plays piano, oh, so and so, oh yeah, they play piano. That's how that becomes part of your identity. Not by playing piano in secret and hiding your talents underneath of a bush. That's not how it goes. You can't even develop the way you really want to that way. You develop faster by performing in front of people regularly. Time for a little bit of bonus information on how music is made and why adults have an advantage of making music over children. One of the advantages that adults have over children is understanding the following: that music does not come from the piano. It doesn't come from the fingers. It comes from within. It comes from you, the person. That's why everybody who plays the piano can play the same piece of sheet music, and it can sound different for every piano player that plays it, because each of us that play it, we have our own unique and special way of playing. Everybody's unique. You have your own life experiences that you bring to the table when you are playing music. Music is a shared experience. You're sharing your life experience. That's why every song is unique. And if you can understand that, you can understand, wow, just because of my life experience, I have something unique and special to offer musically. If you can understand that, then you're on your way to being a proficient pianist. So the music we play and how we play it is a reflection of who we are. And art in general, music in particular, is a way to share who we are, share our thoughts, share our feelings with our friends, family, and the greater world. Music is a shared experience, a sharing who we are. That's what it's all about. That's where art is made. So, I wish you every success. Get rid of these myths and focus on your success. Well, I hope you found this video helpful, and I certainly hope you found it at least somewhat interesting. And I'd like for you to think about some of these concepts. In particular, just remembering that in order to be successful in music, period, you just need to integrate it into your life. And that's not something you do in one day. That comes over time. That comes through pursuing musical ideas and passions, things that you like about music. Go to live shows, talk to musicians, befriend musicians, you know what I mean, and talk about music with them. You know, go online into music forums and find more information and talk to other learners like yourself and share experiences about your challenges and your victories. You know, make music a part of your life. This will help you to grow and learn so much faster. Anyway, that's it. I hope you like this video. If you like it, then like it and share and subscribe for more content. I'll be making more videos, especially for beginners. So if you're a beginner, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any information, and we'll set you up for your learning success. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video.